Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Gunslinger87 here once again. Figured I'd take a break from showing you all my Shay kit and its progress. I haven't been able to do much as of late. Forgive me if you hear some sniffling. I got a bit of a sinus thing going on all of a sudden, not really sure why, so if you hear any of me sniffing or my trumpet, yeah, please forgive me. Anywho, I figured I'd give you a look at my Steam motive power thus far, at least what I have unpacked. First up we have an HO Climax. This is a Bachmann product. Unfortunately, if I have my way, this will not remain HO scale. I got this engine specifically for use as an ON30 project, converting it to O scale, what I call a Minimax, or Miniature Climax. Up next, we have my model, the JW Booker, which was an AHM or Pucher product, which was Italian way back in the 70s. Got that off eBay for about 24 bucks and some change. Working on repainting it. It's actually been partially repainted. Eventually, I intend for it to look something like this when I'm done. Yes, I did draw this. Not the best rendition of it, but it's pretty good. And then up next we have an Athearn Roundhouse old-time 280. I love this engine. It packs a surprising amount of strength for its size. This is actually pretty darn small. And then one of my personal favorites is a Tyco Rogers 1890. The unique thing about the Rogers and my JW Booker, way over here looking all lonely, is that they're actually oversized. And by that, to give you a good idea, is that this engine should actually be closer in size to my 280 or smaller. This is technically considered OO scale, which is more popular in Britain and Europe. A lot of their models do that, but for some weird reason they still run an HO gauge track. Now, despite the sizes, I still think it's a nice looking model. This engine here is my very first model I've ever done a repainting job on. When I first got it, it was painted for the Santa Fe Railroad, the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe. The boiler was this horrible light green color. The cab was red, similar to my JW Booker over here. And the pistons were red, the cowcatcher was red, the wheels I think were the way they are now. And the headlight, I can't remember what that was. I think it was also red. But yeah, it was just god-awful. So I repainted it. I did make one mistake because I intended to eventually put decals on this locomotive. And I found out that gloss paint is what you need to use to add decals. I use flat black instead of gloss black. So I'm either going to have to completely remove the paint off the cab and the tender and repaint with gloss black, or I can just use a gloss clear coat over that, which is probably what I will do. The pilot cowcatcher thing is not quite finished yet. That still needs to be repainted, but I am currently out of black. So once I am financially capable of getting stuff, that's what I'm going to do. Again, apologies for my nasal stuff. So anyway, moving on. My 280, I eventually plan to paint in my Empire River and Western scheme, which is exemplified by my Rogers 1890 over here. Eventually it too will have a blue boiler. I'm debating on whether I want to give it brass boiler bands or not. But the roof will be painted crimson red, or British crimson, excuse me. And, you know, the tender will stay black, but I'm going to see if I can add some lining and stuff, and I'm going to get rid of the AT and SF, you know, Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe stuff here. I still have yet to work on a fuel load. I am currently on the fence of whether I want to make this a coal burner or a wood burner. And I intend to have a straight stack on here. This is just a cap stack from my Shay kit I decided to put on there and see how it looked. And it has a classy look with that, you know, brass cap stack style on there. But anyway, this is some examples of my locomotive fleet. I also have an HO Mantua Atlantic, which also will be repainted into my Empire River and Western scheme. I also have another roundhouse, an original MDC roundhouse 280, more modern looking. And I also have I think an Athearn or AccuCraft, I'm not sure, no, not AccuCraft, they do large scale. Model Power, I think it was a Model Power BL2 diesel, and a BL2 dummy diesel. Those are still DC, but they're packed away in a box somewhere, not really sure where they are. But yeah, so this is my HO fleet, and we will center on what will eventually become my AP Reed. Still haven't discerned a road number for it yet. But as like the other locomotives mentioned, it will also be painted in my Empire River and Western scheme. Quick note, just to let you know, even though what you see here are all HO gauge models, my primary choice of scale and gauge is ON30. And to give you an idea of what that is, here is a Porter. As you can see, it is about twice as large in terms of scale than HO, but it runs on the same gauge track. But since the model railroad club around here only operates HO gauge and N gauge stuff, I'm going to do a bit of HO modeling. Alright folks, that's about it for now. I don't feel too good and I'm getting a headache, so I'm going to draw this video to a close. So until next time, I'll catch you later.